Okay, I'm back, and this heading that's a piggyback off of the energy read that I did from, I mean, not energy read, the download that I have received from the divine about my three family members who were females that practice witchery, black witchery, occult magic, using tantric group sex and blood sacrifice as well. This is where my father got his idea from. Okay, back in 1994, when I was about in between 9 and 10 years old, I remember that we used to do, well, yeah, we were doing shut-ins, and shut-ins for church folks is another way of like how you can get the whole church to come in around the times of like some churches do it in Easter, some do it around New Year's, or some just go to church around New Year's when it's like a I guess you could say like a new year. Every you go in starting off with releasing, getting delivered and getting saved and stuff like that. But going back to what I was saying, the movie that my parents had got me to watch around that time was a movie called Calliculie. Okay, and this is the sick idea that my dad had gotten um, to do one shut in that I noticed. Okay. It says, I remember when I was 10, my family had everyone to have a shut in. And now, usually, a shut in is when the church fasts together and pray together and get demons called out and get saved. But in my family's mind, we didn't do that. We sometimes had shut-ins for New Year's, Christmas too. But one particular day, my dad called everyone together after receiving his message from supposed to be the divine, but really was his sick, twisted thoughts. He knew was going to go. It was going to work because everybody was. They pretty much just worked with him and did whatever he asked, and they were in agreement with everything due to the fact that they were his loyal subjects. So he called everyone to a shut in and let it be about everything and have introduction that was considered to be biblical in his eyes. Only the men went to the Y. The night before, that's when I noticed that it was a lot of times my cousin Alfred would come over and sit at the dining room table in discussion in low tone, and then go upstairs to my cousin Kai's room with my dad that had a massage table in it. And he said that my cousin Alfred gave him the best massages, but I knew they was having sex with one another. I just stayed away. The movie they used for sex was indeed called Calliculie. It was family and friends and of the same sexes on both ends, doing all types of sexual fantasy acts, even pissing on each other and licking it off. After the movie was over, they turned on the lights of the church and asked us to never have sex before marriage because of what was going to happen to us out in the world. But it really was a true projection of what my family did behind the mask of using the church. Now, me personally, the way it made me feel so out of touch within my spirit, mind, and body was a true alarm that what I felt was me wanting to pee and make my pocketbook pulsate. I didn't understand. I didn't understand it, but I knew it would get me in trouble with God. So don't have sex, not knowing that my father was using black magic by putting it in the communion, and everyone was in agreement to their oath to the occult family. I know it. may sound like it's a movie, but it's really real. Collective. I don't. That's where the group sex and the tantric sex groups, them working black magic and stuff like that, came from. Um, they introduced me to sex at a very early age. Um, Actually, they introduced it to all the kids in the family that was in the church. And they actually, as sick as it sounds, they actually sat in the church with us and watched a porno and told us after it was over not to have premarital sex, and if we do that, we was going to end up being done just like the people that was in the movie. But in all reality, collective, like, like, this is ridiculous. They were the ones that was practicing these acts, and they have continued to do it. They recently just did it Lionsgate, and they did a Gemini Cancer Moon as well. They use stormy times to do this stuff when it's thundering, and they meet up at each other's houses and have occult group sex orgies and stuff like that, and be doing whatever sadomizement. The kids, they video record each other doing it, and it's all just to hinder people's intuition, third eye creativity, their root chakras, their sacral chakras, their solar plex chakras. It's like everything that you can think of, they've used this, and it's been working on a lot of people that have not been awakened to their manipulation. And it's a lot of spiritual manipulation going on. And during these spiritual manipulations, people are walking into uncharted waters without even knowing exactly what they're getting themselves into. They're getting persuaded by my family members into thinking that these people are wholesome, authentic, genuine people, and these people are out to hurt you, literally, and then sacrifice you and don't even care because they're sacrificing each other. That's how much full of greed and envy that they're filled with. But again, like I said, they're doing all of this to try to hinder me, and I'm only one person, and they're still not understanding, by them continuing to justify their ex, they're actually being judged. And the main person that you've been doing it to is reading you your Morena rights from the divine. Well, using me to, as a vessel, because I'm subject and willing for him to use me however he choose. And I'm not afraid to do that. But you guys are doing it out of spite and justifying your acts by doubling it up. And you're not doing anything but tripling and doubling your judgment. You're not taking your life into consideration or your choices at all. You're still making rational decisions on being petty and not listening and paying attention, and really not taking into consideration that you need to stop what you're doing because your life has been judged. The ones that just been judged, it's like nothing that you can do now. And yet you're still being a rat. You're still being dirty. You're still being trifling and dark. And yet you're not following through with what you need to do in order for you to progress and evolve spiritually. At least take some of the edge off by going in and facing your healing so that it won't be so torturous for you people. But you're constantly doing it, and you're not going to stop. So the divine is not playing games with you. Like I said, he claimed war. God is not a liar. His words do not come back empty or void. And for you particular people, like in the family, I don't even feel sorry for you because you know what you're doing. So I'm just letting you know, judgment is on your head. Your life is at stake. The rest of everybody else that was involved, the divine is letting me know, I will not let you know your judgment on purpose. You are going to sweat, but you are definitely going to see the ones that I mentioned fall like flies all around you, and you will not know when your time is going to approach. Just know that when you fall sickly, extremely sickly, just know that your time is coming shortly. All right? So again, good night, collective. Have a great night. Please stay prayed up. Take your spiritual baths. Pray. Anoint your home. Clean your cars. Out sage. Sante Alapano. Do whatever you have to do. And go to bed with peace on your mind, knowing that God has your back. You are protected. Your spirit guides is busting their ass, and so is the ascended masters. Show gratitude. Always show God praise and give God thanks for what you have already, because he is moving in your favor.